Now funding on Kickstarter a brand new set of Halloween mask pins, vintage style pins designed by me, Kneon. Check it out at halloween.ninja. That's halloween.ninja. All right, so this is kind of an unexpected story. This I gotta give a hat tip to Jose who tagged me in on this. So we talked yesterday about how the Paramount Warner Bros. Thing is political. Really, they're trying to stall for time, and now a judge has granted a temporary restraining order, pausing the merger for 14 days. 14 days. It's not a lot of time.
Yeah, but what gets me is they're like, because they have compelling evidence that it would create a company that's too big, but meanwhile, there's already precedent. It's called Disney.
Yes. So, yeah, we talked about that. If you look at our other video, we posted it yesterday, we actually broke down the numbers, and really the combined infrastructure of Paramount and Warner Brothers together are still less than Disney.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the whole power, it's way less than Netflix and Disney and other companies too. So this is kind of a load of shit. I'm sorry.
It's all about CNN. It's all about because they don't like the Ellisons. It's all about because the unions are probably freaking out because they're like, oh shit, if they get a hold of Warner Brothers, they're going to move Paramount and Warner Brothers potentially out of California, take all that money with them, probably get rid of the unions because the Ellisons being the Ellisons aren't going to want to do that. And it's going to upend
get rid of the
Hollywood.
unions, or they plan on doing that because he hasn't done it all this time before that. I just think it's about the fact that, but it might be now just because as retaliation after this behavior. But I just think it's ironic that they're saying you can't. Oh yes, there's compelling evidence that it can make it too big. When meanwhile Disney already is bigger than what they're going to be combined, and they did nothing about that.
So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
If you'd like more Clownfish TV, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more podcasts and episodes you will not find anywhere else. And also go out to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, audio podcasts. Look for Clownfish TV Podcast. Give us a like. Give us a 5-star review. You got to ask for that on podcasts. Thank you very much for that. So this just happened, so I'm not sure what the details are. Big story, though. Judge grants temporary restraining order to pause Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery merger for 14 days, according to Deadline.
Yes, and 14 days puts it past July, which I think they were trying to wrap it up by July because they have to start paying.
Cost them.
Yes,
cost them more. Even though I think this is going to go through ultimately, they're going to make it as hard as possible because they're pissed about it. That's what this whole thing is about. Mm-hmm. The order is in response to a lawsuit filed by California Attorney General Rob Bonta in 11 other states. So the judge wrote that the state AGs present compelling evidence that the combined firm resulting from the transaction will possess substantial market share in the wide release theatrical distribution market.
Yeah. And Disney's is still going to be higher. Are you going to then force Disney to sell off 21st Century so that they aren't 28% of the market?
Well, they liked Bob Iger because he had the right politics.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you're going to try to say, that that's the case, that it's a problem, then you're going to have to rectify the fact that Disney has too much of a market share already.
Oh yeah. Then
otherwise,
fine,
then you're just being hypocritical.
On this combined firm market share alone, the court is persuaded that can presume the proposed merger is likely to violate antitrust laws. I don't know. It sailed through the Fed pretty quick.
Oh, wait. It's going to violate antitrust laws. But again, Disney buying 21st Century and having 28% market share didn't?
Yeah, I know,
So
right?
Disney was legal and this one isn't.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Again,
See, that's what I'm saying. It's hypocrisy. And I think you can make an argument the precedent has been set.
It's not what you do. It's who's doing it.
But you know what? We're looking at this the wrong way. Fine. Paramount doesn't buy it and Warner Brothers crashes and burns and you're all out of fucking jobs. I actually am kind of rooting for that one at this point.
The alternative is that Netflix could scoop it up too, but they're going to rip it apart. But also they're going to cut back on theatrical. They said they weren't because they wanted to get it, but I think at this point, yeah, one way or another, Warner Brothers
they took
staying
a hit.
intact.
I don't know if they can do it now.
I don't know if they can do it either, but one way or the other, Warner Brothers does not stay intact. You understand this, right?
But again, the Netflix thing, though, wait, if you're not going by market share of the theatrical, but if you're going by the size of the entertainment company, they're
Netflix
already
is way bigger.
It's already like 100 and some billion ahead of Disney.
Yeah.
If they got Warner Brothers, they would be like leaps and bounds ahead of everyone, and that's not a problem.
Yeah. So I mean, I still think that this is going to go through. Right now, they're just trying to cause Paramount as many problems and as much money as possible because they're having a temper tantrum. That's what this is about.
I think it's going to bite him in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, I said the whole time, I thought Paramount was going to wind up with Warner Brothers way back. Like even when everybody was like, oh, Netflix is going to happen. I'm like, oh, just wait. Just wait. They're not quite out of the woods yet. Just wait. Cause they're really grilling them very hard in Congress. That means that
I didn't think it was right that Netflix lost it last minute to Paramount. I still don't think that was right. But that being said, I think their argument here is just as dumb. Actually, it's dumber because there's precedent. Anyway, continue.
The judge's order bars Paramount and Warner Brothers from closing or consummating the transaction or taking any key steps directly or indirectly to integrate or consolidate their operations pursuant to the transaction temporarily, 14 days. TRO.
But what's that going to do? That's other than not make it miss the deadline to close, so they have to shell out more money.
Yeah.
What sounds like a malicious move on the judge's part. What does that accomplish? It doesn't accomplish anything other than that. That's all it accomplishes.
We already know that judges are corrupt. So, I mean, it's very possible that one of these big companies or somebody like
Disney's doing it. Watch Disney be the one paying everybody off because they want to make sure they keep the big market share.
Yeah. A TRO is in order to preserve the status quo in the short term.
2 weeks. That's not going to do shit.
2 weeks. As the judge reads and hears further legal arguments about the merits of the case. So basically, again, I'm no lawyer, but I'm trying to understand this. It sounds like they're putting a pin in it. She's going to read the complaints and see if there even is a case. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that they're pausing it for now until she has time to look over the complaints and see if there is a legit case here.
They're saying it's the public's vital interest in antitrust enforcement. How is this the public's general interest? Okay, so Paramount and Warner Brothers be combined and they'd own less of the market share than Disney. How is that in the audience's interest? Oh, it's going to because the price hikes, but you're doing them anyway, and you haven't stopped it. So how is this in the public's interest? That's what I don't understand. That's why it's making me mad because it doesn't make sense.
I'd be like, hey, we're saving the public money because we're going to combine services. So now they only have to subscribe to one service. And
but that's not how, I mean, yeah, that's basically what they're going to do. But it's just like, to me, this whole thing, that's why I get so mad about it, because it just seems so hypocritical and it makes no sense. And I really don't effing care who buys Warner Brothers, because I think either way it was going to be, each had its pros and cons. And I think the other alternative is Warner Brothers is completely gone and then they're going to piecemeal everything and everything's going to be ruined anyway, which is now the way I'm rooting for at this point. I wouldn't before, but now I'm so over it. But what makes me mad and why I talk about it is the fact that I can't stand lies and hypocrisy. Those are the two things that drive me nuts. And this is just absolute hypocrisy.
I think ultimately, I could be wrong. I think ultimately it is going to happen. They know it's going to happen. They're just trying to stall it as long as they can. Bonta said, this is the AG, said in a statement, this is a critical first win in our case to ensure this mega merger never sees the light of day.
Okay, and then what happens, Bonta? What happens? If this never sees the light of day, then are you going to take all the responsibility when everybody loses their jobs, when Warner Brothers shuts down completely?
Warner Brothers and Paramount. The reason Paramount got sold to Skydance was Paramount couldn't pay its bills. Warner Brothers is not doing that great. Supergirl definitely didn't help. But I'm just saying, just overall, Warner Brothers, the whole reason that Zaslav was brought into Warner Brothers was to prep it for a sale because it cannot survive on its own. These Hollywood studios are not self-sustaining. They need to be attach themselves to a larger operation that's more...
They're parasites.
They're parasites. Yeah, they are. And it's been that way since the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if it's not attaching itself to Paramount, Skydance, which is more of a tech company or whatever, then it's going to attach itself somewhere else. Or it's going to get just chopped up, and that's it.
It's going to be chopped up at this point.
As long as they have CNN.
And I have 2 weeks to look at, to hear more tests. What else you need to hear? It's no matter, even combined, it's not bigger than Disney. It's not going to, even combined, it's not going to drive prices up any more than it's already been driven up by these companies before this.
Yep. So Paramount argued that the state AGs presented fundamental misunderstandings and incorrect assumptions regarding the economics of theatrical film distribution in the U.S., pointing to the opinion of a competing expert witness, but the judge wrote that their proof still did not show that the merger would not substantially lessen competition. Disney would literally keep other movies out of theaters while its stuff ran.
But that's okay because
that's
Disney.
okay.
That's what I'm pissed about. I'm gonna hit the table. So pissed. The hypocrisy is off the charts. Disney's done all kinds of shitty, underhanded stuff, and they've got away with it. Disney has a more than a quarter of the market share, and that's okay. But we can't have them have it because that's too much power for any one company to have. Because they're lessen competition. I'm going to argue what lessens a lot of competition is when a lot of people don't have fucking jobs because the studio goes under. The studio goes under. It's going to lessen way more competition than it would be if someone acquired it.
She wrote, at best, defendants' proof regarding these robust dynamic markets create disputes regarding the facts and legality of the transaction's market effects. And the state AGs showed that serious questions going to the merits remain, weighing in favor of preliminary injunctive relief. And so it's interesting. This is Anonymous said in the comments, when the government blocked the JetBlue Spirit merger, they claimed to be protecting competition. Instead,
yes.
Spirit collapsed, entered a full-scale liquidation, and thousands of jobs were lost. Now the potential is a dangerous repetition of this pattern with Paramount and Warner Bros. Blocking mergers is in the name of competition often destroys the very firms and jobs regulators claim to want to save. Yeah, it's exactly what's going to happen because Warner Brothers can't survive on its own. It can't. It's been coasting on fumes for years.
So listen, I looked into this woman, okay, right? She currently serves as a U.S. District Judge for the Northern District of California because federal judges are required to be politically impartial, which, how well that goes. She does not hold a political party affiliation currently, but prior to her appointment, she was affiliated with the Democratic Party. She was nominated a traditional seat by Biden in 2022.
Okay.
And she was always associated with the Democrats. I bet you if you look into it, she's probably buddies with Gavin Newsom and shit.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, all the anonymous comments here. MGM didn't have this issue. Disney, Fox, Comcast, NBCU, Time Warner, AT&T, Warner Brothers, 20th Century, Viacom, Sony, Columbia, Coke, Columbia, Viacom, CBS, Disney, Fubo. This is clear bias. Ellison and others need to move political donations film night too. The only comparable one is Disney, Fox, and looking at the outcome, it was an obvious mistake. They said Fox's assets are hugely compatible. So this is basically like Hollywood people probably fighting in the comments about this. I think it's 100% political. I think they're scared to death that the Ellisons will move everything out of California and they cannot afford to take the hit. But again, the alternative is Warner Brothers collapses.
Well, that is the collapse. That is the alternative. What, like everybody's pointing out in the comments, you all allowed everything else to happen, but this one is the one you can't.
Might want to fact check before opening your mouth. David Ellison has donated to Democrats before.
Well, they always do, and that's just it. They always do that because Disney just gave a bunch of my Republicans. They do that because they want to donate to both sides, so that they always have favors to call in. That we've been telling you guys that for how many years since we've been pretty much doing these videos. So one thing I want to point out though, real quick before we are done with this video. Apparently this was the second choice of judge. And this is the judge that Paramount asked for. Because the first choice of judge was this Casey Pitts person who worked with the Writers Guild of America before. So they got it switched to this judge.
That's interesting. So, I mean, look, this may not be much of a, I mean, this is like, they tried to stall out the Fox Disney deal too. And it wound up that they had to, divest themselves of certain assets or whatever. But
if this ends up being like saying that they can't do it and they say they can't because of this, I think their lawyers have a field day too, because there are already so many precedents in Hollywood that they allowed to go through. And then in the article too, you're saying fact check. Well, they were saying a third too, and it's a quarter, not a third of the market. And not just this case, but other cases they're mentioning. They need to start, really hammering home the fact that there's a double standard and that has to be examined, because you cannot willy-nilly just decide that it's okay for this group but not okay for that group. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really fucking matter because they're just going to tear Warner Brothers apart. So fine, stall it out, let it get ruined. Y'all can be out of work completely, and that Warner Brothers is off the table, and then don't tell me there's less competition.
Yeah, this is definitely machinations to try to keep the money in California and keep control on the entertainment
industry. Well, there's not going to be money when the other companies are going to lose both Paramount and you're going to lose Warner Brothers, because Paramount will move after this, and Warner Brothers is going to go bankrupt, so you're not going to have money from either one. So you're going to lose. This is going to be a much bigger loss just to make sure that they don't get it because you're mad about it.
Yep. And also CNN. We know it's about CNN, and the election's coming up, and that's all it's about. So just grab some popcorn. This is going to be more entertaining than anything these studios has put out in the last couple of years, I think. We got to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Now funding on Kickstarter, a brand new set of Halloween mask pins, vintage style pins designed by me, Kneon. Check it out at halloween.ninja. That's halloween.ninja.